night. For me, it's early morning.
Well, I wanted to start off by saying congratulations on the album. It is an absolutely fantastic album, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So, tell us a little bit about what you guys were hoping to achieve with this album. Did you have a goal in mind when you first started working on the album?
The prime goal we have is to surpass ourselves each time. So it's not an easy task because your opponent is yourself, and it's frustrating at first. So we had a really powerful album with Codex Omega, our previous release, and things were really tough to beat this album. But we were really focused on the task, and also we had a lot of time in our disposal because of the situation. This album is different from everything else we have released so far, because it was constructed during a long period of time. There were many interruptions for the recordings, because we used 3 different studios in 3 different countries. So we had recordings in Greece for the main metal instruments and the ethnic instruments. We had recordings in Prague for the symphonic elements. And we had also recordings in Sweden for the drums. So you can imagine we had a lot of difficulties because each country dealt differently with the situation of the coronavirus. But you used all this time and all the problems that we had for our benefit. And I think that the whole album is the proof.
Oh, definitely. Was the hardest element of that getting an orchestra together to record? Because, of course, with the lockdowns and social distancing and things like that, that would have been really, really difficult. So how did you go about getting the orchestra into the one room to record?
Well, eventually we had to wait for the right spot in time that we will have permission to do this the way it's supposed to be done, because you can understand that it's not the same to record a section of the orchestra. It's really different, the sound, than having more people together playing. And so we just waited for the harsh restrictions to be lowered, and we did these recordings. Also, we utilized the modern means of communication this time, because we could not be there in Prague. So Christos, that is in charge of the symphonic element, was online, and he was watching through the internet the whole recordings, and was in touch with the conductor there. To give him his advices and to communicate.
Yeah.
And so it was a strange situation, but it worked out.
Having longer to work on the album because of the pandemic, did you see that as a positive or a negative? Because I know some artists have said having longer to work on the album meant they were able to perfect things, but then other artists I've spoke to have said having that long to work on an album was a nightmare because it meant that they kept on changing things that were potentially already perfect.
There are 2 sides of the coin.
Yeah.
There are some things that are for the good, and other things are really nightmare. Because, as you said, when you have a lot of time in your hands, you start playing around, and also you have this feeling of never-ending story of Hedgehog Day. That you wake up, it's morning, and you do the same stuff, and you are dealing with the same song, and again and again. It's like a nightmare after a while. But it's a matter of how you deal with things in general as a person.
Yeah.
It's a matter of your personality, and it's a matter of how mature you are. Because when you are more mature, you understand that in life shit happens, and you have to, no matter what, to weigh your options and to say what is more important to you. Will you gain something if you cry and say, oh, unfair and stuff like that? No. What you can do without wasting your energy is to focus your energy on something more creative. Yeah. And that's what we did.
Last year was the 30th anniversary for the band. Did it kind of frustrate you that you weren't able to get out there and play shows and celebrate that milestone with your fans?
Yes. Yes, because, when a situation comes that your dreams are on pause, and when you have really intense dreams and a lot of plans, and you are just on the point to take off with your plane to the sky.
Yeah,
it's frustrating when someone postpones this. And but as I told you before, shit happens. So you just have to go on.
How did that 30th anniversary make you feel personally? Because that is such a huge milestone. I've been doing music journalism now for 25 years, and I've seen so many bands come and go during that time. What did that 30th anniversary mean to you?
A lot, because it was not an easy task to form a death metal band in Greece back then, and we passed through a lot of difficult situations, you can say, and so as we passed the limit of time, because time is the ultimate test, and when you pass this test, then you feel proud because you stood on your ground, because you managed to succeed, obviously, and also you feel gratitude. This is what we feel mostly, gratitude to our fans and to all those people that helped us in our journey, because when you have continuous support, then you can continue in your dreams.
Yep. What do you feel has been the biggest change in the metal scene for you during that time? 30 years is a large chunk of time. What do you feel has been the biggest change that you've seen happen in the metal world during that time?
A lot of the change. Actually, life has changed.
Yep.
It's not something stable, and the whole situation changes. And we have seen cycles, as we are a veteran band. We have seen, as you said, other bands come and go, trends come and go. People with power losing power, and people without power gaining power.
Yeah.
a lot of change. But also, this is the beauty of life, because nothing is predetermined and everything is open.
Yeah.
The situation now that we're living is completely different from the situation that we had in our first early days. Now the road is paved, and we have powerful allies, and we have built something. We have our own creation. We have a lot of people that we work together for a long time, colleagues and allies to our artistic endeavors. And this is something that changed. Because at first we were alone and without help at all.
We touched a little bit before on the sound of this album. Tell us a little bit about the lyrics. What kind of things were inspiring you when you sat down to work on the lyrics for this album?
Yes. Well, actually, I always write down my thoughts that I find interesting, even when we are not creating an album, because I don't believe that it's good to push a button and say, now I must find an idea.
Yeah.
Ideas come when they want to. It's like they have a mind of their own. That there are, that ideas floating in the air, and just try to find minds to nest. So when I have really interesting ideas, I write them down. I keep them on what I'm calling a pool of ideas, safekeeping them.
Yep.
And so when we are starting recording an album, I already have a lot of stuff written down to choose from. And then it's a matter of what I feel when the music advances, of course, not at the first stage. At the first stage, I'm focused more on the music creation. When the songs start to gain flesh and bones, and then I try to incorporate ideas to the songs. And on the other hand, besides the already you can say written down ideas that I have, and that I just have to fix them, to dress them upon the songs. Then I have my experience during the time of creation, and this experience also creates new ideas.
Yeah.
So in this case, with the new album, I was living among everybody a really historic time with a lot of with a deep change to our way of life, and I was affected, and I had a lot of ideas from the situation. So eventually, those ideas turned into songs.
Yeah. How did that feel, being able to let that out, how you were feeling? Because people right around the world were suffering, and I live in the city that had the longest lockdown in the world. I think the first lockdown for us was 235 days, and people were really, really suffering. How did that feel for you to be able to let those feelings out into lyrics?
It's something important for me, and that's why I'm a lyricist, because I believe in the power of the words. Also, you can say that I try to see the point of life in a philosophical way.
Yep.
And I have so many questions, and I find this way through my lyrics to pose those questions and maybe alert other people. And it's a really nice feeling when I see that people reach to me and have questions and said that this part of the song, this part of the lyrics really meant something for me in a personal level. This is really something that for an artist is really important.
Yeah. Now, the album is coming out on the 20th of May, but what else have you got planned for the band this year now that everything is opened back up again?
Of course, touring.
Yep.
We have some festivals. Yesterday, we played in Carmageddon Festival in Norway. This summer, we are playing in France in Hellfest, a really big festival.
Yep.
It will be great, I think. Also, we have plans. We have planned already a tour with in September for Europe with Hypocrisy and other bands. And so, our hands are really full with plans about tours. Of course, we have also some plans for promotion that you will see when the time comes.
Awesome.
It's you can say that after all this time that was on pause, we were on pause. We planned strategically a lot of stuff. So this year will be a year that you will see a lot from Septicflesh.
Awesome. Well, we hope that we'll get to see you guys in Australia sometime in the not too distant future as well. But but to wrap up right now, what would you like to say to everybody out there listening who will go out and grab the album on the 20th of May?
Well, first of all, I will say that thanks for all those that will grab the album. And it is something that we worked a lot. And I hope that each one that will get the album will find something interesting inside the album. We tried to make a creation that will grasp you from the first song until the last song. The specific album has a really ominous atmosphere. It's a combination of really heavy stuff with really emotional stuff. And, I hope that everybody will enjoy it.